All right, so my name is Jeffrey Brown. I am the webinar manager at GoDaddy Social. So at GoDaddy Social, we help local businesses, brick and mortars like restaurants, dentist offices, making sure that they have the best social media presence online. And more importantly, especially now during this time, we also want to make sure they're staying connected, staying engaged through social media content, responding to reviews, and more importantly, making sure they still have that same overall presence online, just like they would in person. So today we're going to actually be focusing on your social media ROI. So how do you define that? How do you look at it? We also want to make sure that we're setting you all up for success on social media. So making sure you have a game plan, making sure you know how to respond to reviews, and more importantly, making sure you know how to understand and look at your metrics and analytics on social media. So a really quick poll, and you can just put this in the chat box if you want to, your answer, a yes or no. How many of you are, well, not a yes or no answer, but how many of you are actually using social media for your business right now? And that can be anywhere from LinkedIn to Facebook to Twitter to Instagram. Okay. A few of you are awesome. Okay, good. So we definitely want to make sure, like throughout this webinar, if you have any questions, feel free to ask those questions. I want to make this as conversational and as fun as we can make a webinar for the next hour or so. And whatever questions that we don't get to during the webinar, I want to make sure that we're going to answer all those questions at the very end. And I'm going to also drop my email address in the chat box later on in the webinar as well. So some tips. These are some general tips that you want to make sure that you're doing. You can take a screenshot of this. Like I said, we're going to also be getting that recording to you. So you really want to also make sure that you're looking at these tips and you're making sure that you're writing these down, like I said, or taking that screenshot. So number one, be safe, update your employees and customers on developments and regulations. So right here, we're talking about COVID-19. And I think one of the best and most foremost things that you could be doing for your social media marketing strategy right now is making sure that you're updating and informing your audience. They want to know if you're closed, if you're open, they can schedule appointments for later, how they can help your local business. So make sure that you update and inform them. You want to be flexible. I know that some of us are losing money right now. Some of us are not even working. So you definitely want to make sure you're being flexible. Have a refund policy. Communicate. That kind of goes back to point number one of updating and informing your customers and your employees about any developments or regulations during this COVID-19 pandemic. You also want to make sure that you're getting creative as well. There's an actual local biscuit shop that's right up the street from my place. And they've always had this little to-go window. They've never used it. And so since COVID-19 started happening, they have now started using that window for to-go orders. So get creative, adapt, think outside the box a little bit, and get online. That's what we're going to be talking about in this webinar. And one of my favorite things to talk about is social media engagement, how to get engaged with your audience, how to make sure you're thinking outside of the box, and more importantly, how you can really make sure that you're looking at ROI through a social media standpoint, especially during this time. So you want to stay social. That's why it's called social media. One of the biggest things that I hear is, how do I get more followers? What do I do to increase my engagement? How do I outsmart the Facebook algorithm or the Instagram algorithm? So you always want to make sure that you're getting engaged, you're responding to your comments, you're responding to these reviews on your review sites and social media sites. That's the two-way communication streets that you need to make sure that you're having for your social media marketing plan. If you're not being social on social media, then why be on it? That's the point of social media. You want to make sure you're getting engaged, your business is staying top of mind, and you're also posting engaging content that's going to be helpful for your business and your customers. Also set some goals. And I'm going to go over this in the webinar as well. And these goals, they should go for everyone's business, whether you're e-commerce, whether you have a brick and mortar, whether you are a one-person show, or you have a staff of 100. So you always want to make sure you're increasing your brand awareness. It never hurts to reintroduce yourself. Again, my name is Jeffrey Brown. I'm the webinar manager at GoDaddy Social. I've been doing this job for about 2 years, been with the team I've been with the company actually for 5 years. So one of the biggest things that you want to make sure you're doing is always increasing your brand awareness, always reintroducing yourself, always letting new customers, current customers know what your business is standing for and how that you help the local community as well. Now, drive more in-person sales. If you're able to do pickup, if you're able to do delivery, still make sure that you're letting your audience know that you're able to do these things during this pandemic. And then also the one thing that we're gonna be talking about today, our main focus is your social ROI. So that doesn't mean just bucks. That means making sure that you have a steady engagement on your social media sites. That means that you're responding to those reviews. That means that you're cross-promoting your business. And more importantly, that means if I look at your logo, it should be consistent across all your social media sites. That's increasing your brand awareness while also improving that social ROI. And you have to create that loyal fan base. So to create that loyal fan base, you have to understand what's working for your business and what's not working for your business. If you've ever heard that, oh, these are the best times to post on your Instagram page or your Facebook page, don't take that advice. You want to make sure that you're looking at your metrics, your analytics on all three of your social media platforms and making sure that you know what's working for you and your community, not just your industry as a whole, making sure that you know what works specifically for you. And we're going to go over some ways that you can make sure you're doing that. And just make sure that you're planning ahead. Just like you decided that you want to attend this webinar today, I'm sure that you had a calendar reminder. So make sure that you publish out your post and make sure that you're having a calendar right in front of you, whether that's your iPhone, your Android, your computer, or one that you just printed out. Really make sure that you're using a calendar online just to make sure that you have a great planning strategy. So this is our agenda today. And I really want to make sure that you're getting the most out of this webinar. So like I said, any questions that you have, put them in this chat box. And if you want to wait, we can wait till the end of the webinar as well. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about how to build your social media marketing strategy for engagement. Like I said, you don't want to post on social media just for the sake of posting. You want to make sure that your posts have a purpose. They have calls to action. And then after that, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite platform, Twitter. How many of us are on Twitter right now? And you can type that in the chat box that we are. Maybe you don't understand it. Maybe you're looking to get a little bit more out of this webinar. Twitter is one of those platforms that if you're not on, you're missing out on a huge customer service portal right there for your local business. So really make sure that you're on Twitter, you're getting engaged, you're making it count, and you're staying in those conversations. Because these conversations could last for 30 minutes all the way up to 4 days. So you really want to make sure that you're looking at Twitter and how you can make sure you're converting that traffic and getting the most out of your Twitter page. Next, we're going to go over how to implement and track hashtags. If you're not using hashtags, you're missing out on a way to connect with your audience, stay engaged with them, and stay top of mind. We're going to talk about those 3 strategies and how you can make sure that you're implementing and tracking your hashtags the right way. And after that, we're going to go over how to strengthen your online reputation with reviews and social customer care. How many of us respond to reviews on review sites or other sources? And you can say we do in the chat box, any way that you would like that. But I really want to make sure that you're not just responding to reviews. You're getting to the root of the problem. You're engaging with your positive reviews. That's what your reviews are all about. So you definitely want to make sure that you're doing that as well. And after that, we're going to go over how to create a social media monitoring strategy and profit from it. So if you're looking for social ROI, you really have to look at your metrics. If you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of a post on Instagram, if you're looking to get the most out of a post on Twitter or Facebook, you want to make sure you're looking at the back end of things. So you're looking at your metrics, how to look at those, what days to post, what times to post. Are you appealing to more men or women? Do you know what age range they're coming from? So we're going to dive through those strategies and making sure that you're getting the most out of this site, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Yelp, or Google. We really want to make sure that you're getting the most out of these primary sites to drive traffic for your business, and more importantly, to help you understand social media ROI. So if you've noticed, this hashtag right down here is hashtag Open We Stand. This is a movement done by GoDaddy and how we're making sure that we're doing everything that we can to help local entrepreneurs, to help local businesses get the most out of their online presence, their websites, their marketing. So while you're getting educated today, don't forget to tweet us at GoDaddy, but also use the hashtag OpenWeStand. And I'm going to put in my social media handle. If you want to tag us on Instagram, feel free to do so. Show everyone that you're getting educated today. And Also, Sabrina, I'm going to go over how you're going to look at metrics in point 5. So that way you're going to be able to make sure that if you want to screenshot that, you want to wait till the end to ask those questions, I'll make sure to answer all those questions for you on how you can look at your metrics and how you can benefit from them as well. All right. So how to build your social media marketing strategy for engagement. How many of us use a calendar? And you can just say, we do in the chat box. You like you were showing up for this webinar today, you probably made a plan. You probably had it on your calendar, it reminded you about an hour, maybe 15 minutes before. So you really want to make sure that you're not just looking at the year ahead, you're looking at the month, you're looking at the season, you're looking at the next 2 weeks to make sure you're getting the most out of your social media content strategy. So right now, while we're in quarantine, this is the best time to come up with the best social media strategy for your business. So you want to make sure that your content is going to be varied, it's going to be consistent, and more importantly, it's going to be content that is going to engage your audience members as well. And that's going to be your current audience and also your future audience members. So one of the things that you want to start with is your profile. More importantly, you want to make sure that your profile is complete. And I know this thing is kind of cheesy, but it's true. If your profile is not complete, you can't compete. So that's the big thing that you want to make sure you're focusing on right now, is making sure that everything in your profile, to make sure that you're driving that traffic to your website, for people to make those online purchases, for people to engage with you in those comments. You want to make sure this is in your profile. So what do I mean? One of the things you want to make sure you're including a call to action. If you have a reservation, if you have a place where they can buy gift cards, where they can do a GoFundMe for maybe your employees or your staff, make sure that is right there. Make sure that's front and center on all of your bios for your social media sites. And you can always change out these links. They don't have to be permanent. You can always change these out to whatever is relevant and most important to you at that time for your business. So hashtags. I know we're going to go over hashtags in just a little bit, but I've got to sprinkle these little breadcrumbs throughout the webinar. So how many of us use hashtags for our business? Okay, sometimes, yes, okay. So hashtags are going to be important for your business. The name of the game is with your hashtag is you want to make sure you're being consistent. So if you ever have questions about hashtags, always remember in the back of your mind, you have to be consistent with them. So one of the first things you want to do on your profile is make sure you have your branded hashtag. And I like this one. This is from a yoga studio out in Athens, Georgia. And their branded hashtag is Shakti Love. And this is just something that they put their business name and love right next to it. And this is just making sure that this is their branded hashtag, but also show up, sweat, shine. That's also their other branded hashtag. So your branded hashtag is something that's going to have to do with your business, but you can't expect your customers just to pick it up. So you have to put it right in front of them. More importantly, you have to use them consistently for your business. And like I just said, think about your link. Your call to action and your link are going to go hand in hand. If they're not relevant, if you're not using them consistently, make sure you are. Make sure they're in your bio. And more importantly, let your personality shine on your profile, whether that's through highlights, whether that's through Instagram stories, or that's through your bio. Really make sure you're letting your personality shine. This is where people are making those buying decisions. You want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your profile. So in order for you to see that real ROI is you have to start right here. And this is that profile. This is making sure that first step they see you, they're seeing everything about your local business, why it's important, what you stand for, what hashtags to use. They can also see stuff about your team and everything like that. So really make sure you're making your bio count across all your social platforms and your website.
Jeffrey, we have a question. What exactly do hashtags accomplish?
Awesome. So the good thing about hashtags is, let's say that you're looking then, like, let's look at this one, for example. So mirror, mirror, ATX. So think of hashtags as a filing system. If I use this hashtag mirror, mirror, ATX, I click on it, everything that any users, maybe clients that have gotten their hair done, even the team that works at this salon, have tagged that post or used that hashtag, it's going to get filed under that certain filing cabinet or that folder that would house mirror, mirror, ATX.
So I would prefer for those if you send it to me directly.
And also, guys, just as a courtesy, if you don't mind making sure that you're on mute, just make sure that we can go about this the right way. But we really want to make sure that with hashtags, they're there for you to file things. They're there for you to make sure that you're staying up to date, and more importantly, that your post is relevant. So if you start using this consistently, it's going to make sure that your post is being seen by a wider audience. And when people start seeing that you use this hashtag consistently, they see it in your bio, they're going to know to use this, because that's going to also help you with user generated content. So that's one of the more important things. So if I use this hashtag in a post, so let's say I got my hair done even though I'm bald, and I use this in a post, this business is going to pick up on that. They could say, hey, Jeffrey, we really liked your post. Can we reuse this as user generated content for a later post for our business? So what it's really doing is making sure that you're staying, you're raising brand awareness, you're getting engagement from your followers, and you're staying connected with them so you can also see what they're posting as well.
Jeffrey, we have a
Yes.
question.
Okay.
Comment and then a question. I have heard engagement with your followers and other accounts is more important than tagging other accounts and using hashtags. Is this true?
This is a really good question, Jennifer. So I'm trying to figure out how to answer this the best way for you. So I'm going to repeat the question. I've heard engagement with your followers and other accounts is more important than tagging other accounts and using hashtags. Is true. So yes and no. So engagement with your followers and other accounts, that's always going to be important. If you're not on social media to get engagement and to reply in the comments and to use emojis, then you're in the wrong spot. Social media is intended for that. It's here to strike up that conversation, to drive that engagement for your local business. Now, using hashtags it is important if you use them the right way. So number one, like I was saying a little bit earlier, make sure that your hashtag is in your bio. Number two, make sure you're using this hashtag consistently. Now, you have an array of hashtags that you can use. You can use a branded hashtag right here, like Mirror Mirror ATX did. And that's also a local hashtag because it has ATX in it. Or you can use a more popular hashtag like hashtag hairstylist, hashtag dye, ombre, different things like that. They're going to be associated with this business or this industry. Those are going to be the more popular hashtags. Now, DMO just asked a question, then Holly, and then Kamara. So let me answer these really quick. I'm going to get back to it. And then what I will do is answer these questions at the end as well. But we can also do another webinar about hashtags as well. We can do a huge one. So Diamo asked, do hashtags live somewhere or drive followers to someplace? I just don't get how they operate. So Diamo, that's a great question. I'm going to show you what that looks like later on. And everyone, if you don't mind, really make sure that you have your profiles up, like your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter accounts on your phone. I know you're probably thinking he wants us to be on our phone, if you don't mind. So that way you can follow along and look at these profiles. And that way you can kind of get a gist of how it works for your users and also how you can make sure you're working with it as well. And Kimura, I hope I did not butcher your name. Is it beneficial to not just use your consistent hashtags, but also incorporating? Yes, exactly. Yes, that's exactly what you want to do. You also want to use your branded, your local, and your industry, like your more popular hashtags. Like today is Wednesday, so I think it's Women Crush Wednesday or Man Crush Monday. I forget them, but Flashback Friday, Throwback Thursday. You want to incorporate those as well, but you have to make sure it's relevant with the post. If it's not, it's going to be a mess. So definitely make sure. And Holly, I did not forget you. I'm sorry I skipped over you. She asked, how do you register a hashtag? There's really no way of registering a hashtag. You just have to develop one. The way that you get it known by your users is being consistent with how you use it and how you use it with the post as well. And thanks y'all for these questions. So the other part of this is letting your personality shine is you have to tell your story. We're talking about hashtags. We're talking about, making sure you're building out your best strategy, especially during COVID-19. Making sure that people know your business has been around for 23 years, 5 months, you have a passion, making sure that shows that's your personality, making sure they know why you started this business, that's showing your personality, you're telling your story. If you haven't written your story or written why you love your business so much or your community, make sure you tap into that this time right now to make sure you're letting your customers, your audience, your future members know why this business is so important to you. And you also want to make sure, just like in this one with Twitter, with ePuesto, you also have your hashtag as well. That's just another example. But let's talk about authenticity on social media. This is a really big thing on social media because you want to make sure, number one, you're being real. How many of us have gone live on Facebook or Instagram? And it's a little bit scary, but I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be perfect. People want authenticity on social media. Jose, I will definitely get to that question. I'm going to make sure I copy this real quick for you. So you want to make sure you're being real on social media. And Laura, yes, I'm glad that you've gone live on either Facebook or Instagram, but you definitely want to make sure when you're doing so, you're having fun. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to tune into Instagram. I know we're all busy with separate things, but if you have, check out Leslie Jordan. He used to be on Will and Grace a long time ago, but he's just very authentic. He's very real. If you haven't had a chance to check his Instagram out, check it out, follow it. He's being real, he's being honest. But you don't have to be a celebrity to be real and be honest. If you're a local business, make sure that you're giving information, you're giving out tips and educational tricks to make sure that you're being real online with your audience. Go live. Let them know what you plan to do once you open back up. Let them know what you're going through right now. Take some questions, do a Q&A. That's how you're gonna get the most out of your social media sites. And when you go live, you're not looking for lights, cameras, and action. You're not looking for a polished production. What you're looking for is something authentic that you connect with your audience members. That's going to be the biggest thing. And that's what social is all about, is really you connecting with your audience. So another way that you can be authentic on social media is like Able Plumbing. Does anyone celebrate their employees, like employee of the week, employee of the month? Maybe you do like employee of the year, you do like a big trip or something. Okay. So one of the biggest things that you want to make sure you're doing is, by being authentic, is showing off your staff, your employees. That's going to, one, increase your engagement with your audience. It's going to make them feel more connected with your brand. And number two, it's going to give them an inside look, kind of behind the scenes glimpse of what's going on for your business. So never be afraid to celebrate someone's birthday, like Able Plumbing did. Or maybe you're talking about like their favorite things about the business. But one of the other ways that you can be authentic on social media is, how many of us volunteer? Maybe we give back. I love that. I love that I do company trips and birthdays. That's amazing. Yes, Leslie Jordan is awesome, Isabel. I'm glad you agree. So you definitely want to make sure, excuse me, that you're showing off on social media with your volunteer work. Maybe you're making masks. Maybe you're stocking up on supplies to hand out to people that, can't really do anything. Maybe they can't go get their groceries. I saw that with the realtor the other day. I did a webinar for realtors, and this real estate agent is getting groceries for all of her clients that cannot go out to the grocery store. So if you're doing things like that, put that on social media. You're not doing it for fame or for fortune. You're doing it to connect with your audience. Maybe one of your clients is too afraid to reach out, but they see that you're doing this for someone else. So always make sure that you're doing things like this on social media, not for the hype, but to stay engaged and to stay connected and stay top of mind. So you want to make sure with your social media sites and your products and your services and your photography, one big thing is you can't just set it and forget it. This is not a crock pot. So with social media, you really have to be in tune of what's going on with your community, your local business, and your online presence. So one of the first things you want to make sure that you're doing is having eye-popping imagery. And I like this example from Oakland Vision Center. They said, when art meets your gorgeous face, hashtag rad glasses. And if you're looking at it, you're thinking, oh, wow, like this is just some glasses. And that's what I thought about it at first. But when you look at it a little bit closer, you're also seeing that you see hair and a mustache as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you're doing these things to stand out. You're doing these things to catch people's eyes. And more importantly, you're doing it to stay top of mind, because you just don't want to set your content and forget it. You can schedule out things, but more importantly, you want to make sure you're there to post. You're there for the engagement. You're there for that interaction. You also want to make sure you're focusing on people-centric photos. Yes, we are practicing physical distancing, 6 feet apart. But one thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is you want to make sure that you're including the people that made your business in your social media posts. So making sure they know that you're still connected, make sure that you're still raising awareness, and more importantly, make sure that they know that you're online, you're getting communicated with as well. And that's just one big thing. And also you want to make sure as you come into the room, I know we still have some people coming in, if you don't mind muting, that way we don't hear the overlay of noise as well. Awesome. So Sabine asked a question. She said, thanks for modeling what engagement looks like with us during this webinar. She moved to, oh, awesome. Yes, thank you. Elizabeth, is Hootsuite a good tool to use for social media? 100% yes. But the best thing that you can do if you do have the time, Elizabeth, to actually go in, post on your social sites, do so. Because think about it this way. While you can use hashtags on Facebook, they're going to do you 10, this is not going to sound correct, but it's going to do you a whole lot better to post your hashtags just on Twitter and Instagram, because that's where they live. That's where they breathe. That's where they create that engagement. So you also want to switch up your captions as well across your social media sites. So also think about that. And also think about, just because you have a fan on Facebook, that doesn't necessarily mean they're a fan on your Twitter page. So also make sure you're mixing up that content. You can use the same photo, really make sure you're mixing up the text and the captions as well. And Michelle, this is a great question. Do you think people still read blogs? I'm thinking of starting one. People read blogs as long as it has something that's going to be relevant for them. It has to be consistent and engaging as well. And Sabrina, how do you build your social media presence? We're going over that right now. So you're going to learn some tips and tricks on how you can actually build a social media presence. And more importantly, how you can actually look at your metrics and understand those to build out a stronger social media presence as well. It depends on how big the event is, but usually no, like an example like this, they already know they're going to be photographed. They're letting them know like, hey, we're taking a picture of you during this yoga class, but yes. Sabrina, what I would do is I would get engaged with friends first, but create a separate business account. That's what's going to really help you. All right. So people-centric photos and videos. If you're not tuned into video content, if you're a spa, if you're a salon, you're a restaurant, pretty much if you're any type of business and you can make a video, make a video. If you're not in tune with videos, or if you're not ready to share that part of your world, don't do it yet, but still make sure that and know that this is where content is going. So you want to make sure to get the most out of your content, especially right now, that little bite-sized content that people can digest really easy and unpack very easily. That's what's going to make your business stand out and make sure that you're staying top of mind. All right, now on to our next point. How to get traffic from Twitter that's going to convert. I like Twitter. Twitter is fun. It's engaging. It's bite-sized content. You can't really do a lot on Twitter. You have to break it up, but it's fun because it's a great way to have conversations. More importantly, it's a great way for you to position your business in the best way possible because you're injecting yourself in that conversation. So we're going to go over some ways that you can do that to get that traffic from Twitter that's going to convert for your business. So one of the first things you want to do, this kind of goes back to our first talking point about optimizing your bio, having that call to action. Make sure that you have your URL in your profile. This can go for any profile that you have. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Yelp, Google. Make sure you have that link. If you don't have a link, you're not directing them to your website. Have something that they can do that's going to be relevant about your business. Maybe that's an award you recently received. Maybe you did an interview online. Make sure you have a link there to drive traffic, not just for social. Make sure you have traffic driving to other sources as well. So keep a tweet pinned. You can do this on Facebook as well. You can do this on Instagram. Actually, you can do this through your highlights on Instagram. But one big thing that I like about the pinned tweet is something that's garnered engagement. Something that has got engagement the organic way. And if you've ever tried boosting a post, you always want to make sure that you have that organic reach first before you start putting money into it. And pinning a post like a tweet or a Facebook post is a great way to get that engagement and make sure that you're showing off your work in the best way possible. Because 7 retweets and 58 likes is great engagement for a business. I also see that we have a few questions right here. I will not, Jose. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going back up. Okay. Why are impressions on a tweet low when that tweet has a lot of likes? Why are impressions on a tweet? Okay. So the biggest thing about your impressions is like, so for instance, and I had a great example of this, actually, I'm going to look through my phone. So I recently tweeted to Chrissy Teigen. She was asking about people, and I should have put this example in here. I'm so sorry, y'all. So Chrissy Teigen actually tweeted out about like recipes to cook during quarantine. So I tweeted back at her and I was like, hey, I was like, you should check out this person, Allison Roman. She has a great cookbook called Nothing Fancy. I don't know if any of y'all cook or follow these people, but my impressions were 10,861 just off of one tweet, but total engagement was 757. So Jose, the biggest thing is, I think, and this is kind of a bad example because they're using people that have way more followers than I do. But the biggest thing that you want to make sure that you're looking at is not just the impressions, but your biggest thing is the engagement. So your engagement is what's going to be how many times people interacted with that tweet. So if you're getting likes, if people are responding back to that, that's going to be a little bit better than your impressions. But you should never just look at just one metric. You should look at it as a whole. And the biggest one that you should look at is it fostering engagement? And if that post or that tweet isn't fostering engagement, then you really want to make sure that you're looking at maybe a time that you could tweet that's going to be better for your audience. Maybe what you put out didn't really register with your audience. So there's going to be a lot of different ways that you can look at your metrics. And we're going to go over that towards the end of the webinar as well. And Sabine, she asked, can you give a better tip as how we can get better assets and distinguish successful and maybe less well-received posts beyond thinking about likes? Likes is going to be your vanity metric. And likes is what you never want to really depend on. The engagement, the comments, the replies that you get below that post is what you should look at. That's what's going to determine if this post is successful or it's not. And then you go back and you look at your metrics. When was this post done? You know, when was the last time somebody got engaged with this post? Is it still relevant? And that can influence your future post as well. It's what's going to give you that inside knowledge of when to post and what to post and how to make up an overall better social media strategy for your business and your audience. So what I'm looking at right here, right now, and what we're seeing on the screen is just you really tweeting consistently, whether you have a terrific tip Tuesday or like this guy who's a real estate agent, Wednesday weekly update. He may not do this every Wednesday, but if you start doing this a couple of times a month, you just really need to be consistent with it. But more importantly, make sure it's bite-sized content that people can digest and get something from. And another thing, like, start doing challenges, trends. I don't know if anyone really participated in the Dolly Parton challenge, but Aspen Mark Roofing did a great job with this. They said LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Tinder. And this is the whole Dolly Parton challenge that people are doing, or the dance challenges that people have from TikTok. You know, they might be a little bit cheesy or embarrassing, but it gets people engaged with your post. They're saying, oh, this business isn't just serious posting all the time. They do have fun and they know how to engage on social media. That's the point of your social media sites, is to engage and have a good time, because we can't always be serious on social media. Yes, during this time we should be, and we should be thoughtful about what we're posting. But there's also room for a little bit of laughter, some smiles. One of the biggest things you want to do is you want to make sure that you're resharing content. And I'm not just talking about user-generated content. I'm talking about highlighting some great positive customer testimonials from your clients, your customers. Now, Crescent Moon Construction did a great job, and they said, it's never too late to upgrade your home, protect your investment. And this is from an actual person that used their services via Yelp. So they took this from Yelp, they used an app called Over, and they made this post shine a little bit more. They made it stand out. They wanted to highlight the great things they're doing for their customers, because your testimonials are usually just to show off the great things that you're doing. But now these are true statements from your customers when businesses need them now more than ever, especially during this time. And another way to reshare content is on Twitter. It's just retweeting. Like Puesto, didn't hurt that food was beyond delectable. Thanks at Eat Puesto. And this is content that's already done for you because this is from your users. And usually on Twitter, you just retweet it. But on Instagram and Facebook, you usually want to send a direct message or a Facebook message and ask these people for their content. It's just you getting connected with that person, you showing that you care about the content, and more importantly about the customer. And you always want to ask before you take, but on Twitter, it's usually okay for you to just retweet. And this is just another great example. So Hiatus Spa, it was Valentine's Day, usually what everyone celebrates the day before. So you definitely want to make sure that using posts like this is just going to be a great way for you to make sure that you're standing out amongst the crowd, and more importantly, staying connected with your customers. This is just going to keep your business top of mind, and also let them know that, hey, they look at my post as well. So implementing and tracking hashtags. This is our third point. And also everyone, as you're joining the room, hey, don't want to say it, but just make sure that you know you're muting yourself. That's just going to help us make it even more smooth. But Jose, okay, one more time. What's with these vendors online that will increase your followers for a fee? No. If you have to pay someone to increase your followers, that's buying followers, and that's not authentic. Social media is all about you being genuine and authentic. You shouldn't have to buy your followers. What you should be thinking about is if you want to boost a post or if you want to advertise a post, that's spending your money smart. You want to make sure that you're looking at how to make this smarter for your business and how you can work harder, because once you buy those followers, usually they're bots or people that have no genuine interest in your post. So, you know, why buy followers when they are not going to build up that engagement rate for your business? Because that's what's going to really make sure that you're getting the most out of your social media sites. And more importantly, that's what's going to keep your business top of mind, is genuine, authentic engagement from your real, authentic followers. Awesome. Okay. So implementing and tracking hashtags. We went over this. This is our third point. This is the third time we're going over it. So this might be one of those things where you're like, this might be important. So optimizing your bio. Really, really make sure that your hashtag is front and center. If it's not, they're not going to know how to tag you. You're not going to know what content, or when people are tagging you in content, and you're not going to know really how your engagement's doing. So if you want to make sure you're getting the most out of hashtags, make sure it's front and center and make sure you're using them consistently. Just like in that digital example, we're looking at this with an architecture firm as well. So they have it simple, Clayton and Little. Very simple, very easy. And this is going to be their branded hashtag. This is what you're going to usually find on that business profile, is that branded hashtag for your local business. It's what's going to keep your business top of mind. It's what's going to make this more consistent for you. It's also going to make this easier for people to find you online as well. And it's going to make you, or not make you, help you reach a wider audience as well. And that's the biggest thing of social, is just reaching that higher audience. Now, advocates through hashtags. So in this one, this is a real estate agent, and she's reposting through a repost app from Tom Bramall. And this is Get Money. So Get Money. That's actually her last name. So hashtag repost with Get Repost, which is an app. You can also follow them as well. We're excited to release Roosterfish Media Christmas spoof video very soon. Stay tuned. So you want to make sure that you're looking at ways of using hashtags to create that genuine connection. So once you saw that this person was using a certain hashtag, she was able to reshare this content, but she had to ask them as well. And just like in this one, advocates through hashtags. So hashtag We Know Austin. When people start using this one, you can make sure that you can develop these advocates. You can make sure that your content's going to be consistent, and an easier way for people to find you.
I have a question. I really need to just speak to.
So you definitely want to make sure that that's happening as well. So really, really make sure that you're using hashtags, you're using them the right way. And also don't forget to mute if you're not on mute. It's going to make your content easier to find. We were talking about this question a little bit earlier. If you have out your iPhone, or your Android, go to the search bar on your Instagram or your Twitter page, if you have time, or if you can right now. And if you type in hashtag real estate agent, this is what's going to pop up. It's going to probably a little bit more, but using hashtags, this is how you're going to find them. And you can also go over to tags as well. So really make sure that you're looking for these hashtags. This is just going to be the best way for you to learn about them. Who's using them? Are they getting engagement? Are they not? Are they working for every business? But also consider the other side of that. What works for every business isn't going to work for your business as well. So take that into account. But this is how you do your research for hashtags on Instagram, is making sure that that you know how to look for them. So you can just type in hashtag real estate agent, or you can scroll over it and just look for the tags, and you can just type it in without the hashtag part. but really make sure that this is how you're doing your research. This is going to be the best way for you to figure out what's going to work and not work for you, but also your industry as well. And so why tracking hashtags is so important. So in this example with WKP Construction, they use a hashtag right here, Fort Getty Field House. But more importantly, they use their branded hashtag WKP Construction. So right here, this is how they're able to track their hashtags. They're able to type this in. It pulls up every post that's been done with this hashtag, with WKP Construction. And the great thing about this is they can see what clients have tagged them. They can also go back to that client and be like, hey, we like this post that you did. Do you mind us using that? That's what's going to create that engagement, because you want to make sure that you're using a hashtag consistently. And something like this, that's going to be that branded hashtag, is what's going to foster that engagement. And more importantly, what's going to help you find content sooner versus later. Okay. So strengthening your online reputation with reviews and social customer care. So how many of us, I asked this a little bit earlier, and you just have to say what you do in the chat box. How many of us actually respond to our reviews? And that can be on social, that can be on Yelp, that can be on Google. So you definitely want to make sure that, I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, so Yelp and Google, I see some other ones. Okay, so one of the biggest things about your online reviews is if you're not responding, that's just leaving money on the table. And I know that's kind of sad and weird to say, but it really is. When you respond to reviews, whether they're a few years old or a few days old, responding to them just reignites that ignition. It reignites that customer thinking why they came to your business in the first place. And that's just a genuine engagement they overall felt. This is just going to create that engagement from your business to your users online, and also help foster that community as well. And this is also showing great customer service when you respond to your reviews. So whether they're years old, they're a few days old, maybe they're an hour old, always respond to your reviews, and respond to all of your reviews, negative and positive reviews, the good, the bad, the ugly, the unsure. Make sure those reviews are responded to. So one of the other things that you want to look at is you want to make sure that you're encouraging feedback. So one thing that you think about is, wait, I want to get more reviews. You can't bribe people to give you reviews. You can't pay people to give you reviews. It's one, it's not authentic and it's not real. So that's why you should never be doing that. You should always make sure that that when you're trying to get the most out of your review sites, that they're for a genuine reason. And it's for because the person decided they wanted to leave you a review, not the other way around because you said, oh, you leave us a review, we'll give you 10% off. That's bribing. Yelp, Google, they don't like that. And I get this question a lot, is why are the reviews that I'm getting on my Yelp page, why are those all pushed down to the bottom? And why are they not showing up? The reason being is those people that actually left those reviews, they haven't had enough credit on the site. They haven't built enough credibility to actually have their review count. So you always want to make sure you're encouraging feedback, just like in this example with Halo Plumbing and Router Service. Let the feedback flow. If I can talk today, y'all, I'm sorry. So that's a big thing. It's relevant. It goes with their service. It goes with their business. And they just leave the link. This is just a great way to make sure you're encouraging feedback online. This isn't you bribing anything. This is you making sure that you're letting your customers know that 1, they can leave reviews. 2, you have a review site. And 3, that you want their feedback no matter what it is. And this is why it's encouraging feedback, not encouraging positive or negative reviews, because you want to make sure you have that chance to answer that feedback and demonstrate social customer care or demonstrate great customer service online. So, and just like in this example right here, you're not just responding to your reviews. You're not. With positive reviews, you're getting engaged with that person. So let's take a look at this one. We're going to really look at the response to the review. You can all look at the review that was left. But the biggest thing I want us all to get is number 1, the business owner, Trevor, uses that person's first name, Taryn. You're probably thinking, well, it's just right there, but he still used it. When somebody says your name, if someone says Jeffrey, or if someone says calls a dog by their actual name, that person's going to recognize it. They're going to feel more in tune with that. So this already strikes that person's fancy because they're like, wait, they used my name. Thank you for the excellent review, Taryn. We're serious about giving every one of our customers a thorough, detailed inspection. So I'm happy you were satisfied with our work. So the thing is, you want to make sure that you're taking parts of the review and you're putting it back into your response. It's showing that you listen, and that you also want to make sure that you're following up in the best way possible to show great customer service. And more importantly, you're leaving an open line of communication. So please be sure to reach out if there's anything we can do for you in the future. Leave that open line of communication. Nothing more, nothing less. Just 3 easy steps in making sure that you're answering the review, you're being engaging in the review, and you're showing great customer service. Now, you always want to think before responding. How many of us have gotten negative reviews? And Oliver, you can ask for a review after service is done, like you're doing an inspection, you're doing a tune-up, anything like that that has a service. And I highly, highly suggest having a little card up front. If you have a checkout where you have to pay a bill or a service, always have like the little cards where they say, we're on Yelp, or have your handles written out. That always works as well. So you always want to make sure that you're thinking before you're responding. Never respond to a negative review right out the gate. It's not good. Or even if they just leave a couple of stars like this one right here. So really make sure you're responding in the best way possible. So Charlie was the person's first name. It's sad your experience with us didn't go as planned. So you're acknowledging the review, you're apologizing. I wish we knew more about it, which they don't know that much about what happened. He just left some stars, but hope you'll give us another chance. Mm-hmm. So showing that you're listening, that's the biggest part of these things, is you really want to make sure that you're listening, you're engaging with that person that left the review, and you're showing that you care. So really make sure you're hitting these 3 key things when you're looking at your reviews online. And social customer care. You want to make sure that when I think about social customer care, I think about hospitality. That's what I think about, because you want to make sure you're exceeding their expectations. You're doing things before they can even think about doing them. So just like in this example with Crescent Moon Construction, your roof keeps heat in or out of your home more than you think. Give us a call if you're ready to repair or replace it. This is something easy. This is a tip. And this is a lot of things that sometimes first-time homeowners do not know. So you really want to make sure you're putting out that kind of social customer care into your social media sites. Now, not only that, you also want to make sure that you're doing things like this. So you want to make sure that you're interacting with them on that consistent basis, but more importantly, you're putting out content that's going to strike that engagement. So, and that's what social media is really all about, is just the content. But with more than that, it's also about interacting. And it can just be hands up, and they can just do the hands up again. Simple emojis go a long way, and it's starting to be more of a trend than anything. If you don't have time to write anything, give a simple heart, give a simple high five, give a simple 100 or a thumbs up. That's going to go a long way than just letting that reply or that comment go unanswered. Every little thing goes noticed, and customers, they remember that. And when they reach out, make sure that you reach back out to them. Just don't let a comment go unanswered. And our last point that we're going to go over today, and then we're going to get to questions, is how to create a social media monitoring strategy and profit from it. So you've learned how to create the social media marketing strategy. Now I'm going to go over how to make sure you're getting the most out of your metrics. So with your metrics, you want to make sure you're putting yourself in right at the front guest. So if you're boosting a post, this is kind of what you're going to see. I suggest everyone, if you've had great organic reach for your local business on social media, think about boosting a post. It doesn't take a lot of money. It could be $5, it could be $10. It doesn't take a lot for you to get a lot of reach for your users, but this is kind of what that's going to look like right here. So you definitely want to make sure that you're tuning in, you're looking at things like this. So you have to think about your audience. And if you want to do this, if you want to boost a post, this is kind of what you're going to see. And this is in your business manager page, where you're going to also see your analytics as well. So when you're thinking about boosting a post, if you're thinking about reaching a new audience, you want to think about your audience and consider them as well when you're looking at your metrics. So if you're reaching more women, you might want to still target to women, but also include men in that search as well. Look at your age range. Do you want to go up or do you want to go down? Do you want to stay in the same? Really, really make sure that when you're looking at these types of things to get in front of the right guests, to look at your metrics, you're looking at everything as a whole and what's going to be good for your business and your customers, and more importantly, your social media strategy as well, because that's what's going to keep you connected and stay top of mind. So this is actually one of my personal retweets. So this was on Twitter. So Glossier retweeted, they're a makeup brand, and I said I could use some Matt talk. And that's from Cheer, if anyone's seen that on Netflix. One of my friends said, "You're killing it." And I said, "You're killing it. Happy Wednesday." She just did a simple heart. So I looked at my metrics. So 238 impressions, 5 total engagements, replies, total or detail expands, and likes. We talked about impressions a little bit earlier. Engagements. Your impressions are how many people saw this tweet. 5 people got engaged with my tweet when I don't have that many followers on Twitter. You're going to see that as a win. You're not looking for people that just see it. You're looking for people that are going to actually get engaged with it. So look at how many people follow you and then think about that number. You know, we're not going to all reach 10,000 followers in 1 week. That's not what we're all there for. The biggest thing that we're here for social media is the engagement and the authenticity and making sure we're connecting with people. So I was going to do like a little, see if anyone could get the answer right. But since we don't have much time left, we have about 9 minutes, and I want to make sure we're getting this done, but done right. And also still time for some questions. The average time spent on Instagram is 53 minutes. I have a timer on my Instagram app that cuts me off at 50 minutes. I go over that every day, clearly. But the biggest thing you want to see is people are still on social media now more than ever. So you want to make sure that your time on social media is spent wisely, and more importantly, it's going to engage with your audience members. Now we're looking at metrics. So this is where you're looking at your metrics part right here. So if you have a business account, you're going to be able to view insights on your post. But now if you don't, what you're going to do is, and this is stories, we're going to go back to this one, but this is where you're going to see your metrics. So if you can pull out your cell phone, if you can pull up your Instagram app and go to your actual profile page, and when everyone gets there, just say "I am" in the chat box. I had to think about how I was going to phrase that. Okay, awesome. Okay, good. So now that you're all in here, I want you to go look in the top right-hand corner, and there's going to be 3 lines. So you're going to click on those 3 lines. You're going to go to Insights. So this is where you're going to see your insights. This is where you're going to be able to see all of this. And this is from an actual Instagram story. I just wanted y'all to get there a little bit early. So keep that up on your phone. But right here, this is where you're looking at Instagram stories. This is where you're looking at your engagement, your replies. But I wanted to share this with y'all because, before I started this job, before I really got into social media, I didn't know what reach, impressions, any of this was. So this is just a good tool to actually use. And if you want to screenshot this, I would do so. You'll also get this recording. But this is just going to be a great way for you to make sure that you're knowing what is going on with your stories. What do these replies mean? Just because this many people looked at it, what does that mean for my business? What does that mean for my strategy? How can I improve from here? Now, with everyone's phone still up on their Instagram app, this is what I'm talking about with your insights. So this is a post that I actually did a while back. And I just looked at my activity. This is when I was posting more consistently. And you can see that 57% of women follow me more than men. I can see my days that people are engaging with me as far as like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even hours. It breaks it down. So you can see how many accounts you've reached, how many people you've reached. And looking at your metrics is what's going to help you in the long run. Because if you keep on repeating the same thing, that's called insanity. So I want you to take a step back. I want you to look at your metrics, study them, really figure out what's working for your business, what's not. Because if you keep on doing the same thing, you're going to either put yourself in a place on social media where you're not being found or people think you're spam. So make sure you look at your metrics. Make sure you study those metrics to get the most out of them. Now, this little recap, things to keep in mind. And I'm sorry I'm flying through this. I just really want to get to your questions because I know y'all have had a lot. And I know we're going to probably go over, and I hope that's okay with everyone. Okay. So any questions that you might have, put those in the chat box. So I know y'all have some. And I'm going to go back through these as well. So I'm going to start with, okay, Jose's question. He said, another question about Twitter. How can I check recent trends and activity in my account? For example, I want to see who followed or unfollowed me during a particular period of time. Jose, the best way to look at that is going to, let me find my Twitter account really quick and I can go through it and tell you better than I can just spit it out. So you want to go through your actual profile. You want to go to your, if I can go to it, if I can get my life together today. And what you'll do, it won't tell you like who's followed you, but it will tell you exactly like, on Instagram, you can actually see that better of like who unfollowed you, who is following you, and who is more recent in your activity as well, like who's getting engaged with you the most and who's not. So those are the biggest things that you can do. But as far as Twitter, you're gonna have to just look at your metrics via that way, and it won't tell you who unfollowed you, but it will give you a better look at what is trending as far as like your content. But if you're trying to figure out what is trending in your area, you're gonna have to search for that via Twitter. That just won't pop up on your account. You're gonna have to physically go search for that. Okay, so another question that I got was, what is the difference between an @ and a hashtag? So an @ is when you're tagging them. A hashtag is when you're purely coming up with a hashtag, like hashtag open we stand. So that's the difference between those. Okay. Okay. So Oliver, he said, can you ask for a review after I answered that one? You can ask that without any exchange, but just always say, hey, we'd love to get some feedback about what you thought about our service today on our Yelp or Google or Facebook page. If you don't have those, you know, when you check out, we have our social media handles on a blackboard up front. And that's just an easy way to let people know. Laura, that's a loaded question, but I'm gonna be very honest with you. Social media is a full-time job. The best thing to do is when you have time and you can actually dedicate giving out responses. But if you can't, give emojis, give thumbs up. At least let people know that they've been seen and heard by liking their comments or replies as well. That goes a long way as well. And we are going to share this presentation. You will get this recording. Okay. So Michelle, she said, do you think Instagram is as important for your business? 100%. And some things that I've seen, Michelle, that are really relevant right now is think about it this way. Like a lot of realtors, they're not really making a business and personal Instagram anymore. They're fleshing everything together. And I think that's still a good idea. And everyone's like, wait, what about separating business and personal? It's 2020. Everything is personal. Everything is business. If you just do it the right way, it's going to work for you. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. But I definitely suggest if you're a one-person show, infuse the two of personal and professional. Okay. So Jose, the only way to get verified is if you have to go through the process steps, and that's usually like just done in the app. And you can do that the same way on Instagram, but it usually has to be a pretty significant reason for you to get verified. Jamila, I would say no. I would say I would start with one review platform like Yelp or Google if it's relevant to your business, and one social media platform. If a review platform is not relevant to your business, then start with 2 social platforms. And I suggest either Instagram and Facebook, and definitely LinkedIn. Okay, I thought there were going to be some more questions down here, but feel free to put those questions in the chat box. We still have 1 more minute. Also, don't forget to please put yourself on mute. I know it's a little bit hard, but just please make sure that's being done. And I think that is it as far as questions. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone. Thank you, Laura. I hope everyone has a great Tuesday. Oh, thank you, Diamo. Yes, more soon. Be a different topic, same place. Hope you all are here, and it'll be even more fun. I just want to say thank you. I'm going to put my email address in here. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to email me. It's gbrown1@godaddy.com. And thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jeffrey. That was a really content-rich presentation. We will hope to do a part 2 with Jeffrey soon, so you'll hear about that, everyone. Join us tomorrow when we'll be talking about how to use best practices around virtual teaching, virtual selling, virtually connecting with your customers. So join us tomorrow, same time, same channel. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day and please be safe.
Thank you. Y'all stay healthy, stay safe.
Jeffrey, are you still on?
Yes.
1 moment.